So hi everyone, thank you for coming out, and I see a lot of smiling faces in the crowd, and hopefully you'll be smiling a lot more when you understand account-based marketing and how you can implement that. So let me get started here. So we're going to be covering today the essentials of an ABM program, and what are the essential foundations that go into that program, and what are the appropriate Salesforce tools that are going to allow you to align with that. So there are essentially three different types of ABM programs. And we're going to be covering the structured process that goes into that and the specific objectives and the type of mindset change that you have to be considering versus product marketing. So there's three different types of ABM programs. And if we start at the top, we've got the strategic ABM program. This is usually a one-to-one account approach. And this is usually your best fit customers, your tier A type of customer. The next level down from that is the ABM Lite, which is one to few. And this is where Salesforce will help you to integrate that investment and allow you to have a better ROI at this level. And then the next level below that is the programmatic. And this is sort of a one-to-many. So that's a much wider spread of casting your net. And again, the programmatic ABM aspect of this is that the investment might be a little lower, but your returns might be a little lighter, right? So out of those three, at least 70% of the people are using a strategic approach, right, to increase their existing clients, and the other 30% are actively looking for new accounts with this approach. So in the structured process, what we're looking at here is the level of which level you're coming in at. So how are we looking at these strategic accounts as a company, as putting together the ABM team, and what appropriate prospects are we going to align ourselves with? And then the focus is on the key business issues that our potential prospects are facing. What are those pain points that we have to align our messaging with? And then the fact that this is not a one-off process. So if you're doing quick one-off campaigns, this might not be the right approach for you. It's more of a long-term commitment. You're looking at a commitment of up to a year to really vet out an account-based program and get it operational to where you feel comfortable that you're able to scale it out. And this, again, is where Salesforce can help you with that scaling. So when we look at the specific objectives, we go into the target audience. So how do we understand that target audience? How do we get into the mindset of that person and build a clear understanding through user interviews, through user research, through taking that necessary extra step that let's not make all the decisions in the boardroom. Let's get out of the boardroom, talk to our customers, and get a better understanding of what their specific needs are in their audience so that we can start to align that with our personalized messaging. And then what are the relevant ideas that our audience is looking for? So what are the key talking points and ideas that we need to brainstorm in order to start mapping out a game plan of how we're going to approach this? And then it comes down to collaborating, actually starting to collaborate with your clients directly and collaborating amongst yourselves on how to implement this program and what type of rate of returns do you want. So how do you want to position yourself? Do you want to go for the programmatic route? Do you want to go with the light version, or do you want to go with a strategic version? The strategic version would be the highest investment level, but would also have the highest rate of returns, right? And as you move down that level, your returns diminish, right? So out of the people who have implemented it, 84% of the companies that have implemented an ABM program are delivering on that ROI. They're increasing their ROI. So in the change mindset aspect of it, on the product marketing side, we tend to focus on the features and the benefits. And then in the information side, we focus on the price and the promotion. We do one-off type of timing, and our objective is to reduce our inventory. On the ABM side, our job is to look at real-world problems, the specific needs of our customers, and then tailor those solutions through personalization and allowing ourselves to move into building awareness and education first with our clients rather than trying to go for the hard sell and the cold calling, right? The timing is about an ongoing campaign. This is basically setting a goal of each month we're going to do 4 campaigns on this, and we just move along through that process rather than trying to be throwing the net wide and spending a lot of money on needless campaigns that are not tailored to the individual. So we're going to go into building the right foundation. So in the right foundation, we're working together as a group, and we're determining what our main objectives are for the ABM program and how we're going to position that, and then the content plan that goes with that, and what are the core metrics that we're going to be measuring along the way. So all of us know about SMART. We've seen this before, where most of us are marketers here. But how does it relate to an ABM program? So we have to get really specific with our audience, and I'm going to get into that shortly, but we have to focus very carefully on the accounts that we're going to go after. This is a really critical piece. If we choose the wrong accounts and where we haven't done our initial research, we're going to waste a lot of energy, money, and resources and people on that account that's not going to work out for us. And then really understanding the personas of those profiles and the industries that they're in, and really getting our messaging correct. The measurable components of this are, what are the level of awareness and engagement that we're having with those people, and how does that align with our business objectives, right? And the achievable goals are we aligning sales and marketing together, and do we have those achievable goals? Are they realistic, and are they time-based, right? The relevancy is about the valuable content for each of those qualified leads. Is it valuable, or are we just putting out generic content that's not personalized to those end users, right? The timely aspect of this is getting the right message out to the right person at the right time, right? So in our positioning, there's made up of 5 essential elements that we have to go through when we're establishing our program. So pick your ideal ABM team, and I'm going to drill into each one of these a little bit more, but who your ideal customer profile is, we'll build the appropriate personas to support that ideal profile and the journeys, and then align our messaging, our core messaging and our value propositions with those. And then from that, we're going to identify the ideal accounts that we want to go after. So this is what a typical, and I think most of you will see that here, that you already have this team. It's just a question of reorienting them together. And I'll use that term smarketing, but that's really what we're trying to accomplish here. We're trying to pull our sales and marketing team out of their silos and get them working together. So the chief marketing officer is going to go out and he's going to identify the right accounts. The sales leader is going to go and he's going to look at which leads are the priority. And the marketing director is going to create a specific strategy for each of these accounts. And then the head of sales is going to orient that specific strategy to the marketer, who's going to create the personalized profile and also the personalized type of messaging that you're going to approach them with. And obviously the account executive is going to call on that client and close the deal. There's 2 takes on this. A lot of people, they just jump into the personas, but they don't think about who is our ideal customer profile. That ideal customer profile is made up of a specific industry that you're going into, the geography, the company size, the department, and the role and responsibilities that are going to go with that. From this, you're going to drill out into the actual persona. So when we look at this, we're looking at the standard demographics of name, age, nationality, family status, and what are the key motivations that person might have. So what does she care about? What is she looking for? What are her needs, wants, and pain points? And where are they in their awareness level as they're entering their discussions with us and meeting with us? So where's that conversation taking place, right? So we're looking at this persona that we built for you, and this is Chloe Arsenault, and she's the Director of Global Marketing Operations. She's recently married, and her passion is about improving and delivering innovation with her business needs, right? She loves yoga, she loves getting out and being on the ocean, and she's a very energetic person. She's very focused on what she wants to accomplish. So when we build out a stakeholders map to address that particular persona, the persona is, Chloe is sitting at the center of this. And what we want to do is we want to understand what are the relationships between our ABM team and Chloe. So we might have different areas where they're communicating through different aspects of being online, going through checklists, different areas of how, what are the gaps of how we're communicating with that person offline and online. If you get this right, you can map this out to just about anything. So I'm getting very granular about how to approach this, but it's a really, it really improves the results of what you can, where you can go with this. So building out a customer journey. Just for presentation purposes, I had to simplify this a lot more. This is not a very elaborate customer journey map. But I wanted to put it in the context of an ABM program, being that if we look at the top bar here, this is the awareness level of where we're entering a discussion with this prospect, right? So our objective is to get them from the unaware stage to the most aware stage, right? So they might be coming in at different angles, right? So maybe they're coming in at the pain aware level, or they already know about your solution. You know, like everybody knows about Salesforce here, but that's part of the reason you came out today. So you're a little bit more product aware, right? So maybe I'm going to have to start you at the product aware level, right? So I'll take you through the steps of this, of what Chloe is going through. Right now, she's been tasked with the solution to go out and research an ABM program, right? And so she goes out to Google, she does the appropriate search, and then she gets her results back and she realizes that there's hundreds of marketing automation programs out there. I would say there's probably about 6,000 marketing automation tools in the market right now. It's just insane. And so she gets a little overwhelmed by this, but she goes through the process of assessing the solutions, and she looks at case studies and best practices, and she starts to narrow down her choices, and she's become solution aware. So she moves on to that next stage, and she decides on a specific solution that she wants to try out, and she signs up for her trial. She gets on the trial, she goes through the onboarding process, she gets very personalized emails that are coming out of Pardot that are telling her, you know, welcoming her in a personal way and giving and onboarding her in a personal way using variable tags within Pardot, right? So as she's gone through that stage, now she moves into the product aware stage. She's been using the application for a little while. She's decided to pay for it, right? And she's gone through that next stage, right? So as soon as she becomes product aware, well, now she's decided that she wants to pay for ongoing support. So she pays for ongoing support, and now she has access to the live support agent, and she's able to get additional help that she may need to get her through her journey. The other level of the touch points and other things that you can add to this is the emotional curve of how they're going through this, perhaps how they're interacting with your staff at different areas of this. So that allows you to, once you understand the customer journey of the client and the timeline, you're able to take all of these three components of your stakeholders map, your personas, and your ideal client profile, and put that together in a campaigns, right? And then start adjusting that to a value proposition. All right, so once we've done all of these things, now we want to take those points and we want to differentiate those values based on the roles of the people that we're going after, right? And then tailor that specific message to those appropriate personas, right? So perhaps if you found a specific industry that you want to go after, you're going to look at developing 2 to 3 personas, and then you're going to go into tailoring that specific message based on what you've created, right? And you have to remember here that everybody's different, right? So personas are just designed to give you a visual interpretation and get you visually thinking about who your ideal client is and how you should be interacting with them. And it's really important that this be shared with all the people within your sales and marketing departments so that they really have a clear understanding visually of who they're dealing with. And they're thinking less about themselves and more about the shoes of the customer and being in the shoes of the customer. So moving on to identifying the ideal customers, this is about gathering your ABM team all together and then building a list of target accounts that are based on the tier level. So we talked about that briefly earlier. The tier level is basically your best fit, the tier A, so let's just say Fortune 500 type of companies. And the tier B might be second tier, could be the Fortune 5000 type of companies. And the tier C can be everyone else. And the tier C could also be a company that's too big for you and you're not ready to take on the role and responsibilities of working with that company, or they might be just too small and not quite ready yet and they have to be put into a nurturing campaign to get them to where you want them to be, right? So once you've segmented that list into those tier levels, you want to go back and apply your ideal client profiles and personas to those company lists, and that's going to allow you to narrow down those. You might end up with 25 or 10 companies to start with, and then now you've got a clear understanding of exactly what you're going to be going after, and then that's when you have to start developing out your content plan to address that best fit for that particular client. So we've taken all our templates, we've put them all together into a game plan. Now we have to train our ABM team to implement it, right? So the first step you want to be considering here is developing a pilot project, right? So you can use the Salesforce tools, you can work with Incloud, and you can put together an appropriate pilot project where you're going through this whole process and you're developing and collaborating with your clients, you're developing all the processes and systems that you have to put in place to run the campaign, and you've chosen 5 to 10 particular accounts that you want to go after, right? After you've built this plan and you've got your playbook, you're able to actually start implementing it into your content, right? And the goal here at the end, obviously, is how are we going to measure all this? How are we going to pull this all together? And what are the areas that we're going to look at? So this graph kind of gives you an idea of what your dashboard would look like in Einstein Analytics. And we're looking at the different types of webinars, the email campaigns, the blog post. How much reach and impact are we getting with that? The amount of awareness, is our traffic increasing or decreasing based on the campaigns that we're trying to address and the accounts that we're going after? And what's the engagement level of those accounts? And how much influence? Do we have uptake or is it going down? And then we look at what our new customers are coming in and our existing customers. So retention rate's really important in this. So when you're working with accounts, well, yes, you've established the account, but there are a group of individuals, stakeholders in that account that you have to isolate and go after, right? So it's an ongoing process to understand how you're going to get there, right?